All right, ladies and gentle ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another
And
edition.
anybody else identifying as whatever, all inclusive here at Sir Links a lot.
And
So
he is
welcome.
not saying that ironically.
I'm not saying that ironically. We do believe that everybody is special in their own way
Do
here at
you,
Sir Links a
boo?
lot.
Do you? But yeah, welcome back to another edition of Live SEO Support. We are Chris and Nick of Sir Links a Lot, and we are here to answer any of your SEO questions or questions about life. Maybe you want to ask Nick how to, or where did you get such a good haircut? Where did you get your
You
haircut
like
this?
this haircut? I don't know. I think we've discussed this a lot, but Chris and I have gone from higher
You went to
end
Great Clips,
barbers.
right?
Yeah, I went to Great Clips. To back to the basics of haircuts because they kept messing up our hair, charging us insane amounts of money. And you go to these other places, you're getting a $12 haircut. Look at this. I mean, come on. You tip really well, and then you leave happy. And if they mess it up, who cares? I mean,
Yeah.
not the end of the world. You didn't get ripped off. So, here is to being frugal and spending that money on our companies, right? Which is ultimately what everybody out there is going to do with that extra cash. Think about where you can
What are you
save
gonna do
it.
with that extra 20 bucks, man?
It's going towards backlinks, towards some backlinks, baby. And think about the return on that investment in comparison. Not saying to not ever cut your hair. It's a great feeling, right? To
Mm.
to spruce up here and there, but yeah, I'm back on the cheap train as far as that goes. And I had great conversation too this last time. So yeah, I was all in all very happy with great clips.
Yeah, I actually I wanted to go to Sports Clips, which I think
Hmm.
might be a bit of a step up from
It
Great
might
Clips,
be. I know you get a
but
little TV where you can watch sports,
oh,
which neither of us really do.
Sports
Um,
Ball.
yeah,
But yeah, they don't have one out here, so I ended up going to the Great Clips instead, and I was pretty nervous just because of where I'm
that's
at. I'm out in
scary.
the countryside right now until I leave, and no, that's fine. I'm gonna go back for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
They
But
they
you're
did.
wearing your hat. I noticed. You gotta
That's just
keep
out
the
of
haircut thing back.
laziness. But yeah, I mean, they're just so much better. I feel like the barbershop, it's like, that barbershop we were going to is like this hipster barbershop,
Yeah.
and they're like too cool for school. Like they think they're like so cool, and like they're just like hipsters where
Yeah,
like they
then
don't
it's
even.
just like, all right, man, your haircut's done.
But then you go to Great Clips and they're actually like humans, like normal humans, then they like
Yeah.
listen to you and they're like, "Okay, that's what you want," and then they do it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's less of a funnel, I guess, or,
I feel like
kind
there's
of
a
just
customer service
Mhm.
lesson to learn here,
Yeah,
or
no
a
doubt.
maybe just a business lesson in general to learn. But yeah, definitely
Yeah,
have.
don't be arrogant and cocky and then do subpar work. It's the same thing as like the greatest fighters usually, or like, sports stars in general, hit their peak for a very short period of time, but sometimes that ego resonates a little bit too far, and that's when the career path keeps going, but their ability to excel in the sport kind of declines. And I feel like that maybe happens to people that just have a constant stream of people ready for a hipster haircut that aren't going to complain because then they take their Instagram picture and have a beer there for free. But we can go get our haircut for $12, then go get a couple beers for cheaper than the price of that haircut. So,
For
which do you
sure.
know that HEB sells beers and barbecue at the front of their some of their stores now? You can go $2 happy hour draft beers at HEB before you do your grocery shopping.
Wow.
Yeah, the
Um,
future we live in.
no, I've never seen that. The HEB here, it's a small town, but the HEB here, they'll do like crawfish and stuff out there.
Oh, nice.
But
For those of you that don't know, HEB is our local grocery store.
yeah, I've never seen them doing Yeah, I've never seen them serving beer or anything, but it's
Our
not one of those big like mega HEBs. It's just like a normal one.
Yeah, I think that's where they are. Our favorite DGen friend Daniel invited me out yesterday for Tuesday happy hour and then to go see Top Gun. I guess a bunch of
Tuesday.
them were going to get lit up at HEB and then Uber from HEB to watch Top Gun.
That's actually a nice little time there. That sounds like.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like I really like the idea, but I was like, no, I'm gonna abstain from doing something like that on a weekday.
That sounds like
Seems like
something like I used to do. I don't know.
used to do, yeah, before, before we had anything that we had to do.
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds fun. So
Yeah,
you didn't
agree.
go? You didn't see Top Gun?
I didn't go, no. But he said it was a good time.
I saw Top Gun, I guess like a week ago.
How was it?
I think people are overhyping it. I
Okay.
mean, it was cool or whatever. I guess like the big draw is it's not like political.
Okay.
It's just like old-fashioned American propaganda. Of, like
So like the 80s Top
yeah,
Gun, it
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
resonated with that. I
yeah.
mean, that sounds kind of cool.
And there's just not much. There's no like woke stuff in it, which I guess people like as well.
Yeah.
I guess it's mainly like boomers that like this, right? Because they're
Yeah,
resisting the woke culture or
it's
whatever.
going back 30 years
Yeah.
and making something simple.
So I liked it, but I just think it's like way overhyped. But it was cool.
How was Tom Cruise in it?
I mean, he's old. He's a,
Yeah. I'm a
su-
fan though.
I
I
like
like
Tom
his
Cruise.
acting.
But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of it's kind of cheesy, and you know what it is.
Yeah, I
But
got it.
it's cool. All the footage. There's no like green screens or anything, so I guess it's old
Cool.
fashioned that way too. It's a bunch of real footage of planes and stuff, and they're doing some cool stuff. So of course, whenever they're doing anything on the planes, it's pretty cool.
Nice.
Um, but
All
all
right,
right,
well we're losing people, so let's go ahead and talk some SEO.
yeah, all right. I think we have a bunch of
There's a
audits today.
there's also something in the group that I said we could kind of touch on and go over that was kind of interesting. The
Okay,
footer links guy.
we can do that first. And actually, I've been even seeing more reports of people really thinking the algorithm update is getting like rolled
Rolled
back
back.
a pretty
Yeah.
decent amount.
It kind of seems that way, which was kind of agitating me over the last 2 days because I saw some rankings that were increasing, kind of coming back, and I don't know. That's kind of my assumption as well.
so I guess we'll go ahead and just put this up, or I guess I'll. I guess that fits. Okay. Hi everyone, I need some information regarding linking structures. Look at the footer of this site, contrans.co.nz. They have a link that says links to other businesses. When you click on the link, it showcases all the other businesses which are not related to the niche at all. Is this link farming? Is it good to do such type of link? Someone, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the site. Even though I've already looked at it. And let's get that over here so y'all can see
Yeah,
it.
cool thing is when y'all bring us examples like this, questions like this, we can actually look over the site, right? So we can do audits of sites that people just bring to us. Of course,
Yeah.
if it's your own site, we're going to hide it. So sometimes when you're thinking about the question that you've got, it'd be nice if you can just bring an example that we can actually go through, with
Yeah.
y'all.
Or maybe we should bring examples.
That's actually not a bad idea. It is AMA, but yeah, I guess we could also kind of start a segment like that. It could be pretty neat.
But yeah, it's nice to look at. It's nice to actually be able to look at stuff on stream and not have to hide it, right?
Sure.
But yeah, so he's saying, so here's the site, and then down here at the bottom, I have this link right here, links to other quality businesses. So what is the site? They do like conveyor products, transmission products, some kind of machinery. Yeah, conveyor and transmission. Yeah, and so then down here at the bottom, he's got this links to other businesses, which looks like it's just like a random URL on their site. You can see it just like I guess you can't see it, but it's just
Just
like
a
a
footer
number up
link.
here, just like doesn't even have so. yeah, anyway. And then they've got these links here. What happens when you click this?
So yeah, they're calling it like a directory, right? And it just exists in the footer, which then goes to this offshoot page, right? And
Interesting.
so
They
if you,
have directions links that they have Google Maps embeds as well.
yeah,
Not
it's
embeds, but
basically, so they're calling it other credible businesses in the area, right?
mhm,
And so if you click on all of them, they'll take you to other sites that are built similarly that also have a footer link to an exact same formatted page, right?
mhm.
Which leads me to believe that no, this isn't any kind of link farm, right? A link farm is something more like what you'd find on Fiverr guest posts, where they've got a long sheet of what have basically PBNs, right? But they're higher quality PBNs. They call them guest posts. Um, this is essentially either the same business owns all these businesses, or an SEO agency who's doing SEO for all these small businesses is tying them together with a footer link, thinking that they're doing them justice by giving them all more backlinks.
That's
And
what
so
I
this is
think it is.
typically, I mean, I'd be really surprised to find that it's anything different.
Yeah, I don't think I
You
don't
know,
think they own it. Like I don't
I
think
don't think so either.
unless they're like an SEO as well. I
Hmm.
think it's their agency or whatever doing this because a normal person would not have these Google Map embeds like this.
Yeah.
So they're trying to really get this like location relevance from another New Zealand site. It actually kind of looks more like they kind of know what they're doing, right?
Mm.
Um,
Having said that, it's not something I
yeah,
would ever advise doing, because you're connecting all your clients together, and especially if you're here with Sir Links a lot, learning, how we do things, you don't want to create footprints on your networks. You want to keep everything very separate, especially if you're manipulating backlink data, right? So,
mhm.
um, from the perspective of where we're at, this is not something we would advise you do. Can links like this help? Absolutely. If you could get a footer link that is tied to a directory on somebody else's site that is not tied to any of your other assets, then cool, go ahead and get that. I don't know that I would consider it a very powerful link, but if you can grab a link, then you grab a link.
And it's not really a
So yeah,
footer link either. The
no,
footer
yeah.
goes to this page, and then this
Hmm.
this page links out. So it's mainly just like
The key to
one
that
page.
being that since it is in the footer, it is crawlable through every
Yeah,
page on that
so it
website,
can get
right? So
crawled to
this
this page.
always
Yeah.
comes back. Which, yeah, I mean, it can help rankings, but again, from the way we build things, this is tying the room together, which is something we don't want to do.
I feel like it's such like a low energy local tactic.
If I was paying somebody for SEO and I didn't know anything about it, but then I came to find that they had something like this going on, I would be unhappy about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because chances are, if this is an SEO agency, they're not. I mean, maybe they are asking the business owner if they're allowed to do this, but
Maybe they give them a little
yeah, it's
discount or
just.
something if they allow them to
Yeah,
do it.
and it could be. Yeah, it could be some sort of agreement like that, but yeah, it just wouldn't be the preferred
Did
way
you look
for
and see
me
if
to.
these other sites have the same thing going on? Let's go look
Yeah,
at.
they do.
They have the
Hmm.
same footer.
Yeah, yeah, you check any of them, and it's the same anchor for all of
Now
them.
that I'm looking at,
They're built similarly.
yeah, so this actually makes me think that it's like an SEO that's done all of this. Like maybe these
Well,
are like
yeah, it's
lead gen
probably a
sites or something.
small local agency, which, we say agency, it could be one person or, a couple of
Yeah,
people.
they're built
They've got
exactly
a
the
handful
same.
of clients. They've got a recipe for how they do things. Now, what I didn't do that I think would be kind of interesting to do on stream is throw one of them into Ahrefs and see how things are resonating.
We could do the first one, I guess.
Yeah.
Let me get a ref signed in real quick.
And remember, just because we say we wouldn't take a certain or we wouldn't do a certain thing doesn't mean that it can't work for you in SEO. A lot of people have different recipes for, how they achieve rankings. How old is this site?
All right, so yeah, here we are in Ahrefs. I mean, it's got 48 traffic. down from all-time highs. Let's see what kind of keywords they're getting. See if they're ranked. Maybe they just have ultra low search volume, but I'm guessing they're just not really ranking well for anything. Position 1 for conveyor and transmission, but it's such like a... I feel like it's really not ranking for anything.
No, it's not. Throw in, let's
We'll
see
do
if we
one
can't
more.
find an older one, like whichever. I'll look through who is real quick. No.
So this one, Alliance Repairs Auckland, it's an EMD. And the ranked position number 6 for Appliance Repairs Auckland. It's a decent
It's
little
not bad.
keyword.
Yeah.
I mean, they've definitely got some page 1 rankings. They're not in like top positions for anything, but
How long have they been resonating in the SERPs coordinator rows?
DR of 1. That's the power of EMDs, boys.
Mm-hmm.
29
Yeah,
referring domains. What is
I'm
this?
guessing it's just a directory blast
Well, they
or
used to
something
have a
like
bunch
that.
of stuff way back in the day. Don't really know what happened here in the middle, but
Interesting.
yeah, I mean, they really don't have much of anything going on.
Maybe a repurposed domain or something.
That-
Or they just crashed it. Maybe they added that footer link and boom.
Yeah, so I mean, this one's doing a little bit better, but historically, I mean, it's definitely down from highs as well. Definitely
And
trending
so
down.
we're not going to do it, but other things that you would like explore if you're going down this path of auditing this network of sites, because I mean, they're all tied together, right? So you can look through each and every one of them and kind of gauge what's going on. Places we would look would be the exact same places we always do. What kind of anchors are they using? What kind of backlinks are they using? Because if they've gone through all of these sites, done the exact same recipe on all of them, and then tied them together via these footer directories,
Mega
my
footprint.
guess is very bad. What could you imagine a bot crawling that and saying, "Oh yeah, that looks natural"? How many people out there do you think are doing this just as a natural concept? It's not.
Hey,
It's
look,
purely gaming the
these 10
system.
businesses all link
Yeah,
to each other.
and have the same link profiles.
Yeah.
Yeah, and same WordPress themes, same plugins most likely. But anyhow, you're getting the picture now. You would just keep exploring and seeing how many things are basically duplicates of each other. It's not a good look.
Yeah. So that was the long answer. Short answer is, it's we're going to be completely honest with you. You can't just say this stuff doesn't work.
Right.
You can't really say that with anything, right? Pretty much anything can work. It's just you just never really know, right? But something we would ever do? No, we wouldn't do it just because it's not natural at all. And you're creating this huge footprint, and you put that in conjunction with the fact that we like to actually build backlinks and not just wait for them to come. You're just kind of setting yourself up for a problem that doesn't need to exist. You don't need to give them more reasons to be skeptical of your website, right?
No.
It's such a low energy thing. Just instead of the time it took you to do all that stuff, just spend that extra time in earning some extra backlinks.
Yeah.
Um,
And, I'm guessing that this agency or whatever we want to call it is considering themselves white hat, right? And oh no, there's no way your site can get penalized doing these things. Even quote white hat techniques, getting natural directories, not auto-generating anything. When you're doing something like this, is not technically white hat.
when white hat is more
You're
black
sending
hat
crappy
than a gray
signals.
hat.
Yeah, and that's why, I mean, honestly, the whole concept of white hat, gray hat, black hat, just toss it out the window and diversify how you do things, and you're going to be a lot more successful in this business, in my opinion.
For sure. We made a post about it the other week, we'd given someone some advice and they followed it and they got like 50
Yeah.
page 50-page one rankings in a month. It was basically their on page was really holding them back. We had been building links to them for a couple months at that point. As soon as they made the changes, they just went bloop. And you know,
Yep.
the moral of the story is don't do weird shit. Do normal shit. Follow the basics. You're gonna rank. You don't have to do any like weird magic outside the box crap. Do the normal shit.
No.
Write good content.
If
Do your
yeah.
keyword research. Build quality links. You're gonna do just
if
fine.
if you're newer to SEO, especially listen to what Chris just said. Like it will save you so much headache to just do things the proper way versus looking for the quote hacks.
Yeah.
And you know, this is coming from somebody that I tried every bullshit way to rank sites early on, and 90% of it ended up being, you know, money thrown purely away, trying to be lazy in something that's a lot easier if you just you know, start small, build it the right way, and then improve on that.
For sure. All right, let's see what we got next. Excuse me. Have to learn to be a little bit, maybe not clear my throat and stuff because I got this lapel mic on now. It's probably really clear when I drink or
Actually,
whatever.
isn't it's doing a really good job. It is better than it's better than the Yeti mic for sure. I feel like it does a better job of hiding the background noise too that I usually hear. Oh, well, you're in a new place
Yeah, I'm
too.
also in a room that has like, it's got like a rug in it, and I mean the floor is wood, but it's got like more stuff to absorb the sound. But
Mm.
I think the lapel mic is just a nice little option. But all right, let's see what we got here. Um, Is there a way to detect PBNs when you suspect a site is using them? I monitor a site out of curiosity that has 68 referring domains, of which the bulk are Web 2.0 links, but are generating $1,800 in traffic per month, 730 traffic, 576 keywords. I suspect a PBN because it doesn't make sense to me in the personal finance niche, so fairly competitive. Well, one thing I will say is that I mean, so 68 referring domains, if it's just like 68 Web 2.0s, I feel like 68 really isn't that many. But I have seen sites like do very well off of Web 2.0 spam for like a short amount of time usually. That usually doesn't last too long. Google all of a sudden is like, oh, you're not as cool as you said you were. And then just like take all the rankings away. But I have seen it work. But I'll let Nick talk about the hiding PBN thing.
Um, so yeah, I mean, piggybacking on what Chris said, I agree. I mean, that's not that many referring domains. Yeah, I mean, I guess one variable that I don't know about here reading your thing is how large the site is. So how many
Yeah.
pieces of content it has out, you know, maybe they're running ads to it, et cetera. So there's other things that could factor into this. But if you're trying to detect a hidden PBN, there are some ways that you can do that. So, you know, they're not going to show up in Ahrefs, et cetera. But they are very cumbersome to do. So basically, you would look at the rankings for that particular website, try and get a list of the ones you think he's or they are manipulating heavily, where they might be using PBNs to boost up those rankings. And then you would go into that SERP and crawl all the way back into the top 100 pages to look for those homepage um, references back to that particular website. And so that's one way is just by manually crawling the actual SERPs and looking for that homepage contextual backlink on something. Now, you can also use Google search operators, which I don't remember. It's been a while since I've done any of this because honestly, I'm not really that interested in whether somebody's using a PBN or not anymore. It's more so just about I just stick to my recipes and my games. But ultimately, it is good exercise, and it is a good way to see what somebody like this could be doing in the background. You're also going to find other links that resonate with those SERPs, guest posts, etc., that are pointing back at that particular website. But for a Google search operator, I think you use quotes, right? And you'd be looking for both the particular keyword, and well, I don't know if you can't look up a backlink. So yeah, you'd just be looking for that particular keyword. I don't know. I'll have to look into operators and see which one I'd use. But yeah, that's how you'd look to see if somebody's using a PBN and has it hidden.
But so he said it's in the personal finance niche, so it's fairly competitive. And so they're obviously ranking for some stuff in that niche. And, all the links that he's seeing don't look great. So I would say, there's probably a pretty good chance they're juicing it up with some PBNs and
Yeah.
hiding it. You can't say for sure, but you can say there's a pretty good chance. And
Yeah, or just
I guess my question to you is, why do you need to know? I think why do you need to know for sure that's what they're doing? Um, we all know that PBNs can help rank. We know that PBNs are also dangerous, so you got to be careful with them and try to do things the right way, or else there's a good chance you'll end up getting popped. Um, but yeah, I mean, I feel like there's no real benefit in knowing if they're using PBNs or not, I guess is where I'm coming at with this. We know they work. It's a strategy. It's just up to you if you want to follow that strategy or not. So whether this site is using them or not, I feel like it's just kind of irrelevant. If you want to use them yourself, just understand the risks, right? Because if they have 68 links and it's a bunch of garbage and they're just relying on a hidden PBN to just really pump them up, there's a very good chance that this could end up crashing down at some point. Maybe it won't. You're really rolling the dice pretty hard on this stuff. And so, you never really know, but that's just kind of where I'm at on it. But, if they are using a bunch of PBN links and it's all hidden, you can also pretty much, there's a good chance that, it's a private PBN. So it's their private PBN, they're probably doing it right. And, they're not linking out to a bunch of other shady sites or whatever, or just low quality sites. They're just using it as PBN just for that domain.
Hey, David, feel free to send me the URL. He wrote a few more things in there,
Okay.
um,
Yeah, you can
including
send
it's
us some
only
URL.
22 pieces of content. So now I'm kind of interested because that's nothing, especially in finance niche. And he's saying, good question, Chris. I don't actually have a reason for it. I'm just curious, and I've been following him a while, since 2020. So it's been up 2 years. It's been playing some sort of game. Let's give it a quick little audit.
Yeah, David, if you are still in here and you want us to take a look at
Might have
the,
sent it to me.
did he send you a PM or something?
No.
I wonder how much our stream is delayed by. I feel like he said he just sent it. I don't know who he sent it to.
I don't have anything.
He sent it to our.
Nice.
Yeah, since it's not your site, you could just post it publicly. Or he wants it anonymous. Okay. So we'll look at it anonymously.
Everybody, thanks for showing up today. Yeah, I've noticed that too, Recon Jack, that we've got a bit of a delay going on. Not sure why that is exactly. Hopefully it's not creating too much of an issue. Thanks for coming out. Again, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your cousins. This is a good show. Again, for the first promotion halfway through the show.
Nailed it. All right. So there's something for you guys to look at while we look at the site. Nick, you can
you show that to me
it's
again?
in Sterling's a lot messages
Okay.
on Facebook. Yeah, so you can see it's doing pretty well. I mean, it's less than 1,000 traffic, so
Nothing
I
crazy.
mean, yeah, it's not crazy. 576 keywords. But he said it's a pretty small site, so we'll go ahead and look at that too. So do site colon and search for the URL. Yep, exactly 22. Let's go ahead and have a look at their backlinks. Yeah, sorry, it's got 22 pages indexed. Real quick, Recon Jack, what is the delay you're talking about? Is it like, does our voice
Oh,
not match up with our mouth, or what kind of delay are you talking about? Um, all right, so let's see what kind of links they got.
it's got pretty nice links, really. All very related, kind of higher end.
That's a Web 2.0, like you was saying.
Yeah, but just in reference to
I think about
that was a
one
little bit of
third are
everything.
Web 2.0s.
All right, now I'm going to check out an organic keyword.
But actually, yeah, for the amount of links that he has, it's like about half of them are above DR50 or about DR40. Say about half of them over DR40. So there's some pretty. He doesn't have that
But
many
a
links,
lot a
but
lot of his traffic too comes from like informational content that ranks for, it's not like buyer stuff, it's informational content. And so this is like in a
yeah, all the keyword
niche.
difficulties are like low.
hmm
I mean,
This
so
kind of like in a niche where like I've been involved in before where it's incredibly competitive in aspects to there's a bunch of money in it, so the competitors are huge. But the way a smaller site like this attacks that is by good keyword research that goes towards things that, I mean, look at these, Chris, would you agree they're relatable enough to where some of them might actually convert for this person, but they're not like the most sought after keywords in regards to that business.
mm,
Like the main traffic term that they've got is approved in wherever.
um, yeah, I mean, they just look like low competition keywords, right?
Yep.
At least that's what Ahrefs is saying. Can't ever really trust that completely, but it just doesn't look like anything super difficult. They have like, pretty relevant links. Um, let's see their anchors real quick. Anchors don't look, I mean, looks pretty aggressive, but
If
not the end of the world.
if this person is using a hidden PBN, I think it'd be too cumbersome to want to look up, by manually combing SERPs if they've got that attached, because I think it would be only a few amount of them,
Yeah,
and I don't think it'd be the main reason that they're ranking. I think this has more to do with just low competition, good keyword research, and the backlinks that they do have are pretty relatable, especially in aspects to geographic region.
let's have a
One
look at their
second.
website real quick. Anyway, yeah, not really seeing too much that's too interesting here. Um, yeah, so hopefully that helps answer that for you, David. Um, and yeah, sorry about the stream lag. So yeah, I'm on a new computer now. The stream's being, run from a different computer. It's a laptop, and it's definitely there's some kind of lag like on my entire system. I'm not really sure what's causing this. Um, but it's good to know that there's actually like a delay in the video and our voice is coming in or whatever. Maybe that can help me try to troubleshoot it. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I used to run off of a desktop. Now I'm on the laptop, and I'm not really sure exactly what's going on. So if anyone knows any about this kind of thing, send me a PM because I need the help. Um, all right, let's see what else we got here. We're going to be doing a bunch of audits today.
Probably, huh?
All right. Just wondered if you could take a look at blah, blah, blah. I know you must get a lot of sites looked at, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. I'm starting to think a disavow might be a good test. I tried adding more PBN links when the site got hit about 3 months after it got hit. However, those didn't move any rankings. So first of all, your site got hit and then you added PBN links. No, no, no. No, no, no. Big no, no.
Yeah, you and I were thinking the exact same thing at the same time.
Yeah, so
Yeah, every once in a while we get people trying to buy our PBNs. We're very strict with stuff, but it's like they come crashing down. They're like, "We just need a few PBNs to boost it up," you know? No.
yeah, so like, you're getting hit by something and then you're going and your solution to the problem, what you did was to add more very unnatural things. And so you're essentially, you could very well just be making the problem worse. If your site's getting hit and you think you need, it's basically because Google's saying something's wrong here, this doesn't look right, we don't like it. You need to be doing things as naturally as possible, which means if you're going to be doing link building, stay away from the PBNs, do natural stuff, niche edits, guest post, Haro, any kind of editorial link, real websites, not something you find on Fiverr. It's time to look for quality and send them to, your homepage with very natural anchor text, URL anchors, branded anchors, generic anchors, topical anchors, no money anchors. Get away from the PBNs, get from trying to rank anything. Just you're adding some like trust essentially, right? Very trustworthy type of link building that Google says, the sites should have. But yeah, let's go ahead and look at it and see what we think. I'll get a picture up for you guys as well.
Now that I think about it, though, we're doing a bunch of site audits with a 5-second delay on what we're saying is probably like the roughest thing we could be talking about.
That's all right. Hopefully we'll be able to troubleshoot it and
fix it for the play again.
So just looking at the site off the bat, the site looks extremely unnatural. It's got a blog roll on the homepage and it's formatted. I mean, it just looks like a PBN. Let me get a screenshot, sorry, for you guys. Oh, yeah.
That's nasty.
All right. So there you go. Get the text off the screen for you. So yeah, you can see it's got about 371 referring domains, DR 16. The DR seems a little low for that amount of referring domains, but it could be about ballpark, right? Eventually, they took a big hit back in 2021, lost almost everything. They kind of started building up a little bit, and then they lost almost everything. Really came down to almost zero. So they got back up to almost 1,000 traffic in January, and then down to 42 now. So they went from 10K traffic down to 42. No bueno. Yeah, let's see what we see here. Go ahead, I'm looking in the backlinks first. Actually, let's go ahead and start with the anchors first. Number one most, well, let me make sure no subdomains are in here. 72 anchors. Okay, so most used is a URL anchor, 35% of their anchors are this URL. Go now, top 10 URL. So the anchor text, even though he's got number one as the URL anchor, I would still say the anchor text looks pretty unnatural. I don't see any like branded in here. And they've got all these anchors with like little emojis in them too. And these very like methodical top blah blah blahs kind of stuff going on.
Yeah, they have thrown in a decent amount of random anchors, but it's still not looking natural. I mean, yeah, I don't see any branded towards the top or anywhere actually.
So it looks like
Which the thing about this is a great PMD or EMD, depending on, I mean, you know, it's a guide. So it's like using you're kind of losing out on being able to inject all that relevance by using your branded anchor.
Yeah, he's not using the branded anchor at all. Yeah, so that's, you know, that's like the major benefit of using an EMD is that you can use the actual domain name as the anchor, right? And it's a keyword anchor, but you can get away with it because it's the name of your website. But yeah, I didn't see any actually. Did you see any?
None. I kept looking and I got to the third page and I'm like, oh, I didn't see any in there.
You know,
so that's a way unnatural thing
yeah,
to see.
it's
It's
weird.
a website, you know?
Yes, it's very weird for a website not to have any branded anchors. I'm looking at their backlinks now.
Now, having said that, yeah, I think reading some of your articles and looking through them and stuff, like, you know, the website, especially from a conversion rate optimization standpoint, could stand to use a little sprucing up design-wise, but the content reads well. You know, I'm not going to look up whether it's copy-scaped or not, but if it's all original and stuff, I'd say you're on the right track
A lot of
here.
these
I like the way everything's set up on page-wise.
a lot of these links that I'm looking at, like they're relevant, but they all look like they come from these like it looks like article submission sites almost.
Yeah, it could
Like
be.
they all look like they all have like SEO terms in their domain name,
Yeah, it could be
like
that
niche
link
or
farms
keyword
from
or
somewhere.
um, see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just, yeah, definitely not the highest quality link profile. And then you're
Oh, they're
getting
like these weird
quite a
things. So kind
lot
of like
of,
these aggregator weird things. Oh, so his entire link profile, it looks super relevant, but there are actually all these like,
they're pretty bad. This one's all cheap Viagra spam. Another one is in French. And yeah, you've got a bunch of, that's another thing is my guess is being that this site's in English, you're trying to rank, you know, in English speaking countries, but is like so many random TLDs in here.
yeah, I mean,
PWCN D, .co, which again is .columbia for those that didn't know.
so I saw like a couple like guest posts in there or whatever, but just like the large majority of everything looks like they're from these like very unnatural websites, right? This looks like very like low quality, I don't know, kind of, I'm tempted to say something like Fiverr or something, or
Yeah, I would
not
think
really
so
sure what
too.
it is, but
So
doesn't look good.
now you were talking about a disavow, right? Which might be a good recourse of action. But before I got started on something like that, now mind you, you are pretty floored out, and I do think a good amount of these links are just garbage, and you'd probably be better off getting rid of them. Um, but sometimes it's better to prod with better links and more natural anchors, typically just going to the home page, and see if you can't dilute what's going on a little bit. And sometimes you're able to get out of the hole that you dug yourself in without doing a disavow, which we typically recommend. If you can abstain from doing one, it's typically the best practice. But since you're not really ranking anywhere right now, you know this is pretty garbage as far as a backlink profile goes. It might be worthwhile, and then just make sure you're keeping the handful of links that are worth keeping if you're going to do that. But this will probably depend on your budget.
What would you think about
If you,
starting over in this case?
yeah, and that's another thing. You could always 301 this domain. I would probably avoid it because, like I said, I think the website itself, like the URL, is solid for what you're doing. Could use a little design influence. Maybe change up the
I just
images
didn't
that you're
really
using
see,
for a lot of stuff.
I just didn't see many backlinks in there that I think are worth like trying to save. I feel like there's just not much in there where it's like, well, I've spent all this money. It's more like
No.
you're at the bottom of this hole. Google's just beat you down repeatedly over the years, twice now actually. And I just don't really see much that's worth saving. You could just take the content off the site, put it onto a new site, and
Oh,
start
gotcha.
building up a quality backlink profile. Um, I just don't really see much worth salvaging as far as the backlinks go.
Yeah, and I mean, even if you disavow, then it could still resonate, in quote sandbox period for a long time, even if you start doing things correctly. So that's another option as well. Now, something I'm guessing you're not saying is you've got ad blocker on, right?
hmm
Um, so he's got like AdSense going here, but I'm seeing on the same page like three of the same ad um, all over the place. It's just like riddled with ads as well.
Gotcha. Um, yeah, so things just overall, look very unnatural. Um, it looks like there were a lot of shortcuts being trying to take in here and just trying to really like squeeze out something out of not much, right? I don't normally recommend starting over in many cases. This might actually be the first time I've actually recommend someone start over, but I think if this was me, if this was my project, I think that's kind of where I would be on it. I don't, Nick might be, so do you think you'd rather start over or try to save it?
Um, well, now I've got it. So I did the site colon operator, and I'm seeing all these weird pages show up, like brand name, page 2 of 6, page 4 of 6, page three of
Yeah,
six,
those
six,
are just like,
like all these like.
archive pages.
So maybe there's some cleaning up to do. I don't know. I think they're like categories that he's set up, but they're not like labeled anything. They're just rando categories. So there might be some on page worth messing with too. But yeah, there are 107 results. I'm guessing a good amount of those are just categories, pages, and stuff, right? It might not be a bad recourse of action to start over. I would probably personally disavow first and just see where that gets you. But yeah, Chris might be onto something. And it looks like, yeah, you do need some on-page help too. So yeah, maybe starting from scratch is sometimes, it's not going to be that big a deal because ultimately you're not getting any traffic through organic right now anyway. So why not just start over fresh peace of mind? Not a whole lot of rebuilding to do
Yeah.
or breaking down and rebuilding.
All right, and we actually got a couple more.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah. Anyway, so I think we actually got two more audits. I don't know if we have time for it, but let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we got another one. He's an audit. He didn't really give us much more information. Let me get you all a picture. Looks like pet niche.
Nice looking site at a glance.
All right, there's the picture for you guys. So yeah, DR24, 181 referring domains, and it's really just not doing anything. You know, 1 traffic, 31 keywords. 31 keywords, I mean, it's really, really, really low. Let's see what's going on here.
Yeah, I've already found probably the main issue.
What are you looking at?
Anchors.
Jesus
We've
Christ.
got money anchors across a bunch of like the
Oh
same
my God.
spam technique. No branded, no naked, barely any random.
I excluded these subdomains, the Web 2.0s, and it fixes a lot, but still we got exact matches up at the top. Yeah, I mean, it's still unnatural even doing that. Yeah, so anchors look very unnatural. It's got a backlinks. And it's out of 181 referring domains, 150 are Web 2.0s.
And 0 are
So
branded.
he's got 30 backlinks that are not Web 2.0s.
It's too bad because it's a professional looking site for sure.
He's also got he's got some redirects going on. Some 302s from 1, 2, 3 websites, 4, 5, 6, 7. Jesus.
Not a good look.
There's a bunch here.
I mean, in order.
Oh, well, I guess it's probably he just wanted to keep, well, I don't know.
No, I mean, like, no, none of that doesn't look natural.
No.
We had this, somebody asked about this
Actually,
in the group the other day, or is this the same person?
It was a mistake. There was an Ahrefs error. I wonder if it's having an error right now, too. You're looking at it on your computer, too?
Yeah.
But I mean, this doesn't look like an error.
Redirects.
Then we got some PBNs down at the bottom, too. Oh, man, who was this? This is our boy Recon.
And a lot of these links that you got, they're not, and not to say that they have to be niche relevant, but there's some that are, and not just some, but several that are, or I guess rather I should say there's not many of them that are niche relevant to what you are selling on here.
Yeah.
A lot of them are more random, which again can still work, but you kind of want to tie it together a bit more.
Yeah, so basically, as far as link building goes, there's almost nothing that looks good here. Not trying to like hit on you too hard or whatever, but
interesting. Looks like some of these are maybe ads. Like, maybe you paid for ad space on some of these pages?
So of the 30 links that you have, a lot of them are just not relevant at all. A lot of them are just kind of junk that normal sites pick up anyway. And then there's a few that are, kind of these relevant links. You've got a ton of maybe 10 or 20 302 redirects on top of your backlinks being like 90% Web 2.0s. Your anchor text has a ton of exact match anchors in it. So it's just, as far as off page goes, you've pretty much ticked every single box as far as things that we would say don't do this. Not even looking at the website itself. The website itself, it looks like a nice site. Let's go ahead and try to look at some content real quick. I don't know how well. So the content I'm seeing on this, I just clicked on one of the supplements articles. I mean, this looks thin.
Yeah, agreed. I'm
This looks
looking
like
through
less
right
than
now too.
500 words. Let me try to find one more. Yeah. Are you seeing any content that looks
No, I mean like it's like an e-com site, but yeah, they're fairly thin, a lot of them. A lot of internal linking going on as well, like which can be good, but it seems like that's predominantly what's going on here is like they're different funnels, not too much informational content on each one.
Yeah, so there's a there's a lot that needs to be changed here. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. The content needs to be beefed up all around. We didn't even really look into the keyword research, but from the two supplements articles I looked at, I mean, those were mega keywords that you're going after, and the content that you've written for them, less than 500 words. Uh, you need to look at your competitors, see what kind of content they're using, the length of the content that's ranking for those keywords. That'll give you a good idea. What we do is we use Surfer SEO for content. But if you don't want to do that, you can just look at the top competitors, look at their content that's ranking for the keywords, and try to mimic those articles, right? Just try to include all the things they include and have same kind of content length on average. And then, yeah, link building. I think you got to go back to basics here. Start building a bunch of homepage links, natural anchor text, relevant links that are about related to your niche, not stuff that's unrelated. And yeah, so I think it's kind of just going back to the drawing board in a way on this one. What do you got on it, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, your recommendation on the last one might be a recommendation here too.
Start over.
Starting over, especially with like that many 301s and the way the link and anchor text profile looks like. It's going to be, yeah, it'd be difficult to dig your way out of this one, I think.
Ooh, those are two kind of rough reviews that we've done in
Yeah,
a
I know. I
row
feel like
now.
people are like, these guys are assholes, and I'm not coming to this show anymore. I like, and sorry, especially anything that we kind of dive through and we take a very critical stance on, it's nothing personal, right? We're just, we're trying to give you the exact vantage point that, we do when we're, behind closed doors as well, when we're auditing a particular site. So, honesty is the thing that's going to help you the most here, and that's why we do it.
Yeah. Jack, if you have any specific questions about this, how to write good optimized content, how to build links naturally, stuff like that, you can check our YouTube or our blog. YouTube is probably really good, actually. We just have so many different videos on there now. You can just type in your question on our search bar on YouTube. But if you have specific questions, you can ask us in the group as well. But yeah, I think I might agree with Nick on this one, just with the very high amount of unnaturalness here. I just don't see too much that's worth salvaging. Even the content looks super thin, so I don't even know if I would move that content rather than like starting from square one on the new site and just writing, good length content that's more in line with the people that are actually ranking for those terms. Yeah, might be a start over situation for me as well. I just feel like it's going to be a very uphill battle with how unnatural the off-page looks, the high
Mm-hmm.
amount of 302s, the high amount of money anchors, especially those. If they didn't have the 302s and it didn't have all the money anchors, I'd probably be a little more lenient. Um, I just feel like it's such a red flag though. It just looks so unnatural. I just they might just keep you in jail forever, you know?
Yeah, it's again going back to the peace of mind thing, you know?
Uh,
You take this content, you go restart somewhere fresh, get yourself an age domain, hack the backlink issue right out of the gate, and then throw that content on there and start moving, in a cleaner direction. Ultimately, then you don't have that eating at the back of your brain every night, when you fall asleep, like, is this going to work? Especially because then you're muddying up the variables that you're messing with. Let's say you start buying higher quality backlinks, diversifying your anchor profile. There's no real telling how long it's going to take to get out of this hole, right? Even if you're doing things properly, you're still going to have this history in the eyes of Google or whatever search crawler that says, at this point in time, they looked pretty bad. We've referenced it before, kind of how, going to prison or something looks when you try and get a job afterwards, that it's going to be harder and more limited. Sometimes, well, I guess the equivalent would be creating a new identity. So, yeah, anyhow, maybe not the best analogy, but I think you get the picture.
all right. Um, we've got one more here. Let's get to this one real quick. Um, so just checking on what other tips you can give me. So it's another audit. I've optimized using Surfer. I'm in the green on page speed insights. Keep on blogging. Been publishing every 3 days for 2 years. Building links. Use SEO audits like Sitebulb, even Quora to optimize as much as I can. Still super unoptimized. Competitors destroy me in the rankings. Just don't know what else to do. Any idea on what I'm overlooking?
I don't see anything that references backlinking in
Well,
there.
site's actually in our MLB, and
Oh, he gave it to us. Okay,
we've
nice.
actually audited this site for him as well.
Oh, I know this site.
We got a picture up, and then I'm actually gonna excuse myself for just a second, and I'll let you kind of. I mean, things are looking up. Um, but so I think what he's mainly worried about here are his like main money keywords. So
Yeah,
maybe the stuff that's going up is just more like informational, kind of like blog content that's ranking, and not the.
it's about to hit all-time high in organic keywords.
But yeah, I think it's like
Get
his,
up to it.
so he's a local service, provides a local
Yeah.
service, and I think those keywords aren't doing so well, but everything else looks like it's running up very nicely. But I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, and so if we're looking at local sites, we've got to take a bit of a different approach, which isn't always just about muscling up like you might do with a affiliate or a national, or, any national or international ranking website. And so a lot of that has to do with getting some local relevance, making sure that your GMB is getting some love as well. And really competing at the local level with a lot of people, that are doing well in it. You'd be surprised whenever you're messing with local, how much something like a niche relevant guest, blog post or blog comment on a post can get you. Some of these small, obscure sites that aren't very powerful, but are very active in a certain community, will help you inject that relevance into what you're doing. But ultimately, I guess I can look up some competitors in here. Let's try this one. So I'm going to pull up a random competitor. I guess it's, according to Ahrefs, your second biggest competitor. But it's similar to you in that it's branded with somebody's name. So there's less tying into the niche.
Sorry, just got back. So where are you on this?
I'm just looking at one of his competitors. Here, I'll pass it over to you. Or, well, just pick any of them, really.
I've got the text on the screen too. Sorry about that, guys.
But basically, I was just talking about how, focusing on your GMB, getting niche relevant links as well, even if that's just like blog comments on very lower end or like not so strong sites that are very niche relevant, have been putting up content for a long time, can go a long way to adjusting that relevance as well.
I think we're also fixing his anchor profile a bit, if I remember right. Can't remember exactly at this moment. Yeah, because he actually has a pretty good amount of exact match. They're not just the same exact match, but it's a lot of exact match.
Oh, yeah.
So we are in the process of trying to clean that up. So he might be kind of over optimized for some of the local keywords.
Go back to competitors. And then another thing, let me see. So I see you've got a good news section where you're putting up essentially clients that you've worked with, I reckon. This might also be a good place to inject some geographic relevance through titles, etc. And then furthermore, I haven't looked through too. Oh yeah, there it is. No, interlinking looks good.
So he's the niche he's in is photography. I will say I like his photos.
Yeah, it's nice. The whole site is really nice. I don't see any issue with the site itself.
Yeah, he was very over optimized for, at least I didn't really look at many pages, but I looked at his homepage, which is trying to rank his main keyword on, and he was way, way, way over optimized on it compared to the top ranking competitors. Like using, like service and then the name, town name right next to it, and had that like 20 times in the article or something. Which is like very unnatural because you don't even write that in writing, like maybe on like an H1 or something, but it's very hard to have that in a sentence. And they had it like a bunch of times in the article, and like the top ranking competitor had it 0 times on their ranking page. So yeah, but how long would you say,
if you're watching,
as far as,
can you send over like the main competitor you're talking about so we can look over their site? I'm guessing you're talking about
show you.
Oh, okay. So far, anchors would be the only thing that need a little bit of work.
So it's this one right here, Nick.
Okay.
So they have it like in their title. I think the title is the only place they even have that keyword. And I don't even like their photos as much. That's the real kicker. What's on their blog?
Yeah, so I mean, if you look at the main competitor, their anchor profile is definitely more natural looking.
Well, see, the thing is, it's like, so what do you think about this? So like this, the big competitor, it looks more just like a local site,
Yep.
whereas the one we're auditing is almost
Has like,
working more like an affiliate site.
yeah, it has like 500 more referring domains,
Yeah, it's way more
which,
powerful of a site, but they're kind of like doing this like content marketing approach for these like more general keywords that aren't related to the the local keywords, which are their main keywords. I mean, it's in the same niche or whatever, but it's kind of a different ball game, right?
mm-hmm.
What do you think about doing that on sites? You have this local site with like essentially a blog on it targeting non-local stuff.
I mean, it can work so long as it's niche relevant, right? However, if your goal set is especially organic rankings for a local site, then you kind of want to look like the sites that are up there a lot of times. Not to say that if your site's way more powerful, you can't rank in there, but just that for every particular SERP, there is a set of variables that look natural for that particular SERP, right? Now, if I'm looking at this one in comparison, I would say that yeah, the one that's an MLB is pretty overpowered in consideration to like comparison with this one. But I think one of the main things that would help um, start to get the SERPs that this one's resonating for has to do with the anchors being over optimized and across way more domains than is natural for that particular SERP. But um, also, I feel like when I'm, well, no, I mean, really, they're pretty equal in aspects to geographic relevance in their backlink profile to the one that's an MLB too. Now I'm looking at it. So anchor's been still the main thing, and then yeah, what you were talking about as far as being overpowered in comparison can play a factor as well.
You're saying you think they have about the same amount of local links?
Yeah, I mean, this one, at first I thought his competitor was maybe a little bit more niche relevant there, but
No, I'm
I
saying
don't
like
think so.
location relevant, like getting links from their country.
No, I don't think so. They do have a 301 though that is geographic relevant that I'm sure is helping them out. It's a geographic relevant TLD.
Yeah, I mean, so we got the anchors, and just the fact that the site kind of seems like it doesn't really
So
fit in like the others.
another thing too that you've got to take into account is we've got a branded domain here that we're working with. These other people, or at least this main competitor, is a PMD, so partial match domain. In comparison to a purely branded domain that doesn't give niche relevance in the URL.
It has a little, kind of.
You think that one word? I'm
Yeah.
like, I mean, but it can serve the purpose of like, so think about from like a robot
He's up here
perspective,
good.
that last word is blanketed across a lot of different niches. So I don't know. I
He's got a
mean,
bunch of reviews too. He actually has more reviews than any of these other ones I'm seeing on GMB.
oh, nice.
So we're not exactly, we are not local SEO experts. So we could very easily be missing some things here that a person who knows, actually works on local sites often might be able to tell you to do. Um,
Eh.
yeah, we're definitely more, affiliate slash ecom type. But yeah, I just don't really see too much that's glaring here other than, the site just seems different than the other sites, but I wouldn't want to advise them to take down a bunch of content or something. And, the anchors, of course. Um, yeah, it's just hard to draw a conclusion on this one. You still looking at something?
Yeah, I'm trying to look at the SERPs as best I can. So what I'm seeing actually and I mean, unfortunately, we're looking from across the world. I could use iSearch from, but I'm not really sure how accurate that is anymore either. But from where I'm at, said site is not in top 3 organic, or I mean, sorry, top 3 map pack, but they are number 2 in organic, beating out their main competitor, which is actually number 10 for me.
Are you searching in incognito?
Through a different IP on a different browser altogether.
You're searching for their main keyword or what?
Yes, the main keyword, which is photography, whatever.
I mean, so their competitor's number 2.
Oh, not from where I'm looking. This person is at number 2 and the competitor is at number 10 for.
On Google?
Yep.
Just searching the main keyword like I did here?
What do you got? Oh, I removed the first word.
Okay.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. All right. Let me try that one. Yeah. Interesting. So they're flipped for those SERPs, but I'd say they're both good SERPs to have. But so maybe. Let me look at this. Okay. No. Yeah, still, I'm running into the same issues. Like, nothing is glaring at me. And actually, like, when I look at this, I'm like, even going through the backlink profiles over and over again, like, I'm leaning more towards how much better
Yeah.
this one is than the competitor.
So what I feel like, it's hard to audit through everything this fast on stream. We'd really need to sit down and really dig into stuff, which we're not going to be able to do. But what keeps coming back to my mind is the fact that the site does not really fit in like the others. And that's probably the angle I would really be looking at, is what are you missing as far as what natural local sites get that your site does not have. Because you've kind of gone this other approach of kind of more like an affiliate site, gunning for all these kind of informational keywords. And so I'm guessing all of the other SEO work you've done is kind of fitting that same type of mold rather than what these other sites have done. So I'd be looking at the types of backlinks that these sites have, common backlinks, location relevant backlinks, just anything and everything local is what I'd be looking at. Things you need to do for local optimization.
What Chris is saying definitely holds a lot of weight. And if you take something like Mozbar or Ahrefs, type in your main keyword and go down the line, you're going to find that your site is substantially stronger than every single site except for one that I'm looking at.
Yes. So like on paper, you should just be absolutely crushing them.
But I wouldn't say his site's that well. No, it's substantially stronger actually. Because the main ones popping up are about half the DA of his site.
Mm-hmm.
And then the only one that's double the DA of his site is the only one that kind of fits the same mold as his site. So we've talked about this before. Sometimes you're going to see local SERPs that are specifically targeting these smaller local websites. And then you'll find, one or two of the larger websites existing there as well. Whereas on a lot of other terms, you might notice the opposite, where there's maybe a smaller site that gets in there with the big dogs and you're not really sure why. But it has to do with the way the SERP resonates, or with, the SERP is reading variables that add up to what's natural to show here. Now, this is probably another thing where it's kind of, well, what do I do at this point?
Yeah.
You
So
know?
have you looked at his blog at all?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
So you're talking about the news, the showcase of like work,
Yeah,
client
so,
work, right?
looking at the blog, I'm looking at these articles, a lot of them, like, so for example, this one, like it's part of like the much broader niche, but not, well, sorry, maybe not that one.
Yeah,
Like
I
this
was
one
kind
right
of thinking
here, this
about
one
that
right here.
earlier.
See this one?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah,
this,
that's a national targeting
and
term.
yeah, it's a blog article about, it's just like it's very much broader than his niche is. So he's got a bunch of content. He's essentially done the opposite of niche down.
Mm-hmm.
He's niching backwards.
Out, yeah.
And I wonder if having all of this content that's not as related to his, um,
Geographic
well, to
region.
his like his exact service, the things he's actually providing, and essentially
Mm.
niching out instead of niching in. I wonder if this is making the other sites more like little sniper sites, and he's just kind of more of this unfocused
Well,
thing.
yeah, something else like worth noting about that, that I kind of brought up earlier, but now that I'm looking at it again, I think, we're talking about this, it makes sense. You've got a lot of opportunity here within these kind of what are client profiles of work you've done. It's like a gallery, right? To inject more geographic relevance in some of these titles or in some of these articles from what I'm looking at, and really playing off, where all these things took place, etc. Versus right now, a lot of it has to do with names. And again, just like it's not niche down like Chris was talking about. Not to say that it's hurting you, it's just it's giving a different narrative to Google or to a search engine about what this site is, specifically for, which seems like probably national rankings right now.
I'm just looking at some of his competitors real quick, seeing what their top pages are. Um,
You're just outside of the map pack, though.
yeah.
And actually, in the map pack, number one is very comparable to his in aspects of DA. And number two, about half. Let's see what number one's got in their blog.
So I'm just looking at their top
Similar stuff.
pages, and feel like
Wow, number two's got like no power behind it. Yeah, I'm with you on this one, Chris.
So, like I was saying before, I would just be trying to focus on all the local SEO stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Adding location relevance, because I think we've kind of niched backwards. You kind of niched out in a way, writing a bunch of more kind of generic things about the niche rather than the more focused niche that you're actually in. And
It's funny because
I think you're kind of
yeah,
confusing Google as well with the type of site you are.
yep.
But that's such a hard, like,
It's interesting because it's like you're doing everything right, you
if this
know.
was
There's like,
if this is an affiliate site, yeah, you're like doing good.
yeah, yeah, you'd be doing really well. But now that you're really or well, the focus being geographic relevance and smaller local searches, I would agree it's probably
I wonder what his
a bit
interlinking is
confusing.
like.
It looked fine. I was going through a bunch of those too. Because at first I was kind of thinking maybe that was an issue, but it seems like they're doing things pretty right.
So, do you have any advice for him, like, where he?
More geographic relevant content.
Mhm.
So articles related to the geographic region that you're promoting.
Yeah.
Um, and then, yeah, if you can get any kind of geographic relevant backlinks. So, like, this is very specific, and sometimes it's only things that you can do, but um, every night, uh, especially back when I was doing a lot more local, part of what I would do would be looking for very hyper relevant blogs in some cities that, maybe don't really have that many blogs even running. And I would try and get as many blog comments on there or backlinks from there as I could, right? When we're talking about backlinking to geographic specific locations, a lot of times things like here in the US, Better Business Bureau can add a little bit of geographic relevance. Um, Directories that are going to give geographic relevance, the type of pillow links that you think about that you think aren't very powerful or worth getting are actually worth getting in aspects to telling Google, well, this is where we reside, this is what we're doing. I don't think, because it probably sounds like what we've said is pretty bleak in aspects to you getting in for your
No.
term, but it's not.
So I've got
You
a
just have to tailor things a bit more to tell Google, hey, we belong in this spot as well.
do you do more of the content posts where, basically when you do a photo shoot in a certain location, you make a blog post with that location name
Mm-hmm.
in the URL, and of
Yep.
course do good interlinking back to your other, your main pages from there or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, adding lots of posts like that where you're just creating these blog posts about specific locations that you want to rank in or just all around your main location or whatever, I think could be really good. And yeah, just focusing on all the local SEO type stuff. Anything you can do to get location relevance, right? Because that seems to be what your site is lacking, or what Google thinks that you don't have enough of. Because you're doing very well for like your affiliate stuff, and the site's at all-time highs as far as traffic and well, not all-time highs, but um, it's
Getting
it's almost
back.
like double from the low that it had last year. It looks like. Um, so yeah, just all the local SEO, location relevance, name of the game is what I would be going for. I don't think I would take content down or anything. It's so hard for me to recommend to take content down. Um, what do you think about that?
No, I wouldn't take content down. I'd just because everything is resonating positively in the
Yeah.
SERPs. It's just an issue of getting that geographic SERP that he's after. So no, I wouldn't take anything down. I'd just keep building, but I'd build more
Yeah,
specifically.
all the local SEO. Anything you can do to write about locations in your area, photo shoots at different locations, good interlinking with those posts, local backlinks. You can check for the backlinks that maybe your competitors have that you don't have, like little top lists, best
Hmm.
photographers in X area or whatever, stuff like that. Just all the local, and
Movies shot in whatever area, like you can add the relevance a whole lot of different ways.
yeah. So hopefully that helps. Where are we?
Out of time.
I think we had one more quick one on YouTube we'll get to real quick. Sorry, YouTube guys, we've been kind of on some rabbit hole here's today. Here, we'll just do this one because it looks like it's gonna be easy. We'll get the other part of the question. Looks like someone already answered them in chat, but
Nice. I love it when the community speaks up. It's
makes
really
our job
cool.
easier.
If you're not in SEO Roundtable, the community's really grown well over the years, and it's nice seeing that people aren't, shit talking each other, but they're actually there to help all the time.
Yeah, that's actually, there's a lot of negativity in some of the other groups.
Dude, yeah. Some of the other groups, you ask a question, it's just like, the trolls are just hanging out, not working.
Yeah. Yeah, I like our group. Feel like there's actually information there that I'm actually okay with rather than the other ones who are like, oh my God. And you just want to comment on everything like, you don't know anything. Stop telling people what to do.
Yeah, stop doing that to people.
All right. So can I buy 10 brand new domains and build backlinks and pointing money site after 5 months? So I guess he's...
Oh, so a PBN. So can I buy a 10 PBN, build backlinks to that PBN, and then point them at my money site after 5 months?
I'm just laughing.
Will that work?
I'm just laughing, Surrender, because I'm pretty sure we tell you like every live stream that you should try to focus on less like black hat stuff.
And then he's always coming back.
And you keep coming up with these like very creative kind of like black hat ideas. So yeah, I guess he's saying he wants to get 10 brand new domains and build backlinks to them. 100 Web 2.0s, each with unique content, pillow links, and niche edits. And then so he's like talking about tiered link building essentially. So 10 brand new domains, tier link build to those domains with Web 2.0s and pillow links and niche edits. And then eventually after he's juiced those up after 5 months, then point those to his money site. And I'm just gonna say this, Surrender, you're overcomplicating it. Like, instead of focusing on all this stuff, I would focus on only the money site and building quality links to the money site rather than all this other stuff. Because at the end of the day, you juice up 10 domains with Web 2.0s, and I'm guessing, so pillow links aren't very strong. I don't know how many niche edits you're going to build to each site and how quality the niche edits going to be. If there are niche edits, awesome. But then you're spending all this money to juice up these other sites that are, the rest of their links besides the niche edits are going to be very low authority, almost zero. Well, not the pillow links, but those aren't really going to increase authority very much. So you're essentially looking at sites that aren't going to be very super juiced up, and then you're spending all this money on pillow links to link to them as well. I would honestly rather niche edits. I would rather just send the niche edits to the money site and all the other time and energy. Just send everything to your money site. Not all the Web 2.0s. Focus on quality stuff to your money site. You could try doing what you're saying. I just feel like you're gonna, at the end of the day, rather than it working well, you're going to waste a lot of time and money on doing something that has not much result at all. That's what I'm worried about. It might end up working. I would be so surprised if it worked well. I would just be so surprised. That's all I can say.
The scope on this project would take so long, and thered be so much money involved if you're doing it the correct way.
You're saying all unique content on 100 Web 2.0s.
It makes no sense, to be honest with you.
I like the angle. I like that. I really do like the fact of how like creative and just how
Mad
how much
Scientist is fun.
the path he's going down. Yeah, it's just I wouldn't do that. I can't recommend you do that.
Yeah, here's a better way to do it. You've got a money site. Use quality backlinks, diversified the same way we explain it on every live feed, and then get maybe a little bit more creative with tiered link building. But again, stay away from the spammy tactics. They'll only set you up for disappointment in the future, if not immediately.
Here's what you do, Surrender. I'm gonna give you. This is what I would do.
Here it comes.
You focus money site only. Stay away from the tiered link building right now. I want you to focus on the very natural stuff. So build the money site. You can do horror links. It's because I'm guessing what the problem here is probably budget, right? So number one, focus on horror links. Horror links are free. It takes time. You have to answer horror questions every single day to try to land these links, and you have to learn the process of it. It's a thing of its own. But basically, if you can give them good information and do it in a concise way, you can land some very good backlinks doing that absolutely for free. Next up, instead of spending your budget on all this unique content and Web 2.0s and 10 brand new domains, instead of all of that money, take all that money, save it, start doing backlink outreach on your own, reach out to hundreds or even thousands of websites. When they come back with their prices, tell them you want to do it for about 20% of what they offered. Like, just beat them down as hard as you possibly can. Please, sir, for this one time, can I do a guest post on your site for $20 instead of $200? Just see what they come back with. You're doing it at scale, and just take the ones that are the cheapest of the cheap that come back to you. And if the websites are good and they're not crappy, you can take those. This is like the ultra budget way, right? You're sending out lots of outreach. It's boring as hell. You're negotiating hard as hell with these people, and take the cheapest ones from there. And I feel like the time that you take to do that, which honestly isn't that bad if you get it all kind of automated in a way, I just feel like the time and the money spent doing that instead of what you're doing will have much better results for you. And you've also developed some skills that you will be able to replicate on all sites. And you don't have to worry about doing these things that are going to be extremely hit or miss, or probably mostly just in the miss category.
Yeah, think about putting 5 months into a project like that. And have it not work. You want to imagine your runway as something that's going to help you succeed, not something that's going to be a gamble, especially when you're talking about that much time. Unless, of course, you've got a ton of money and you like to experiment. There's mad scientist types that do stuff like that all day long. But, it's not something that's going to work out for too many people, I don't think.
Okay, we're going to call it there, guys. We went way over today.
Yeah, almost double.
Yeah.
So like, comment, subscribe,
Yeah, like, comment, and subscribe, please. We need it, especially for today. And yeah, hopefully we helped you out. Hopefully we weren't too negative with some of these reviews. These audits took quite a long time. I think I'll have to tell people, or stop telling people to do audits now, because I kept telling people to do audits.
Now all of a sudden they're just coming in. Maybe we do like one per show, I think, like we started out doing.
Yeah, or maybe two.
Yeah.
But anyway, thanks, guys. Hopefully it helped you out. We will see you next week, same time, same place, 12 p.m. Central, on YouTube and our Facebook group, SEO Roundtable. If you're not in the Facebook group, that's the place to be, SEO Roundtable on Facebook. We're in there every single day answering questions and stuff. And you can pretty much learn SEO completely for free. All right. Thanks, guys.